You were listening to Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Let's jump first, as we always do, into the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. We've tried to put some kind of trend line here. Of course, we had the big down week back on August the 5th. We haven't plumbed those depths yet. Last week was a down week after a prior doji, the week beginning the 26th of August. We saw the market, it looked like it was trying to move up in Bitcoin in that week beginning the 19th. Then it started dying. Then a nice down week last week. This week a bit ambivalent. It's been, you can look here on the 195-minute chart, and you go back to Friday and the weekend, tried to perk up a little bit. Then things started taking off on Sunday afternoon, jammed up to Monday afternoon, then sort of fell back and started building up. And we can see at 3:30 today, and I'm recording this on Tuesday, the 10th of September, we saw things starting to move up again and challenge that prior high. In fact, it's right up there where it had been previously, back when things really popped up on Monday. So we'll keep an eye on things. Right now, Bitcoin's up just under 1% at 0.90%. But still, we have this hang of that downward pressure we see from the weekly chart, and we see it on the 2-day chart also. Although this latest 2-day candle is a green spinning top, but that's after 14 days, over 2 business weeks of down moves. So we'll keep an eye on things. And again, the trend on Bitcoin right now is lots of downward pressure. Let's look at Ethereum even more so. You look at Ethereum, it of course jammed down strong the week beginning the 29th of July, then really hammered like Bitcoin did on that week beginning the 5th of August. And, tried to recover a little bit, but then just sort of took off back down strong last week. Not as much this week, up right now 0.69%, but again, a lot of downward pressure on these cryptocurrencies. If we look at Bitwise, which is the top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted as per market share, with Bitcoin being the big dog there, we can see, again, that week, August the 5th, the low that week was 27.11. Last week, 27.10. This week, 27.65. So went a little bit lower than that big low back on August the 5th last week. Not quite there this week, but again, you can see on the 2-day chart, lots of downward pressure. For the last 2 days, things have been sliding sideways. And again, for the day, down 0.42%. So overall, lots of downward pressure in our crypto markets. Now, let's move on. In alphabetical order, we'll take a look at some of the commodities that we chart. We see sugarcane after 2 weeks of trying to move up. I had a big week the 26th, beginning the 26th of August. Sort of then got stymied that next week and pushing over this week. Even though we had lots of volume those 2 prior weeks, not a lot of volume this week. Down for the day, 1.39%, a red down candle forming corn. Again, nice week last week. This week not showing as much love. For the day, down 0.45%. Decent volume last week. We can see a decent bottoming here and then an up move, but not a lot of carry through. We look at where we are with copper. Look like copper was trying to take off with 2 weeks of up movement, and then last week down, this week down for the day 0.77%. So again, no real consolidation of up movement, ambivalence as far as the price goes. Silver. We saw silver again trying to track up for 3 weeks, and then last week moving down, this week down for the day, or for the last 2 days at the beginning of this week, trying to move up some, but again hasn't even recaptured how much it went down on the Heikin-Ashi candlestick on Friday afternoon alone. So again, downward pressure on silver too. Wheat trying to move up. We can see where wheat bottomed and then rotated around. But one reason I don't like these green up candles for switchovers when it's going from red to green, green to red on the weekly chart is when they pop up like this with no spinning top, that is no bottom movement, and a smaller candle, a lot of times they just don't regain what they had hit that first week, and it's not doing it yet on wheat either. But it is up for the day 0.78%. We can keep an eye on this. You can see the drawback there starting where things peaked last Wednesday, the 4th of September. Then dojis for a day and a half, then a strong down day, some ambivalence on Monday afternoon. Well, I say a down day, that was an evening and a morning, Friday evening, Monday morning, and then some ambivalence on Monday afternoon, and then popping up some today. So again, you can see overall what's up with the markets. They're trying to find their way, and they're not finding any cohesion in any up moves. Maybe just waiting to get through this election cycle. I'm not quite sure what to tell you there. But let's take a look at world currencies. We look at where things are again with the British pound. The pound had started moving up. We can go all the way back to where its most recent bottom was back in the week beginning the 22nd of April. Then we saw the pound shoot up, slide sideways into June, into July, popped up, then sort of started dying at the end of the July into August, then popped up starting in about mid-August. And then last week, first week of September, things sort of just burned off that nice strong up movement. And this week, we're getting a red candle again. We can see on the 2-day chart where, again, things topped around Tuesday and Wednesday, the 27th, 28th of August, and then rolling over and heading down, all that downward pressure entering in. We see it very similar on the euro, several weeks of up movement. We had a sideways slide there in late July, and then things took off in August, and by the end of August, it was sort of dying and moving over. The Japanese yen, interesting, we had the Japanese, change their interest rate, and we saw just the yen just grabbing all this energy and moving up. Then the Bank of Japan with their interventions tried to kill that, getting out of style, just completely hammering them. And then what happened? Well, we saw the yen fall off, but look at what it's done. It's been moving up over the last going into 5 weeks now. The high, that big week, again, where they went from their -0 interest rates, when things really caught fire with that, we see the high 65.05, then it dropped down to a high of 63.06, and of course 65. Last week 65.17, even higher than that big week. So they've not been able to keep that yen from, again, appreciating. They probably don't want that happening. Well, it's pretty apparent they don't, but the yen going up in value, which of course affects your exports. When your currency becomes more pricey, it makes your exports more expensive, something the Japanese central bank, Bank of Japan, probably doesn't want. We'll see how they deal with it. That is where we are, my friends. Hope you always enjoy these charting cryptos, commodities, and currencies. It's fun to step out of the regular box and look at these other types of ETFs. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.